Hey out there, this is Thursday, December 26th, 2019. And it is just about 13 minutes past 9 in the morning here in Northern California. And you might recognize this song, When Johnny Comes Marching Home Again, about the Civil War. That really has got a nice sound. I like that. It kind of stirs something within me and kind of makes me think about conditions today in America. Well, today I'm going to get into a lot of things as usual. I'm going to try to keep it brief. I always say that, and I run longer than I want to. I'd like to keep this to one tape, which amounts to 41 minutes on DV cam mode in this little Sony DV camcorder I run. But I have not succeeded at that as of yet, but I'm working on that to keep it down. There's a lot of things on my mind, and as far as the theme goes, this division in America that has been contrived, concocted, conjured up. We got to remember, you think back to the Civil War, this wasn't Democrats against Republicans. The way we're led to believe that today, that our issue in America, we're divided as Democrats and Republicans for the most part. Just it's a generalization, but in light of full disclosure, a generalization is fair in the context for which you use it. And that, I think, is a fair assumption, a fair deduction that we are trying to be divided. This is the trickiness of satanic forces. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I just want to be blunt, cut to the chase. Because any force, human or whatever, okay, you want to imagine, okay, because all we need is humans. I mean, demons, they're inhumans. People can be evil. We all know that. I watch these crime shows. It blows my mind. I'm so far removed from some people's thinking, where their heads are at, what their values are. And I'm thinking, God almighty, they're so illogical. These are insane people. When you've got the wrong values, you're off your nut, okay? That's it. It's as simple as that. And the wrong values to have are temporal, ephemeral, fleeting values. For all intents and purposes, what we're experiencing, this human experience, this human existence, is very much like a dream, in the sense that we all know a dream has a beginning. It starts, right? You can think of when it starts, you got a middle part, and then it ends, right? You wake up from the dream. And how is this that much different? I mean, people should think ahead. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Think that you might end up living forever. Even if you don't believe in God, that might be the case. That you can't really die. That you're not a body. I'm not a body. We are not bodies. We have bodies like you have a car, a vehicle, an instrument, a vessel, a container. That your essence is very well integrated into it. You got your five senses. So, it's easy to conflate who we are as a body with who we are as an eternal spirit, this essence that we have, the heart and the mind, the soul. I mean, these things that are invisible, but who people in their right mind value very much, things that people in their right mind value extremely. I mean, above all else, they wouldn't do anything for temporary gain to have for those things. I mean, it's like Christ taught. He said, at the end of the day, what would a man give in exchange for a soul, to get your soul back? How are you going to get it back once you've sold it? Once you've deliberately, wantonly compromised it? Once you haven't valued it? What do you got left? I mean, if we lived like a family, okay, we wouldn't have these problems. If we just adhered to the teachings of Christ, all the laws of man would be insignificant. They'd be all moot. We'd be following all the laws of man. As long as those laws make any sense, love God above all else, then love one another like yourselves. And there's no more tender love than a parent has for their child. Ask any parent. And it's not hard for anybody to imagine what it would be like. They're part of you. You realize this is your flesh and blood. You care about there's absolutely no ulterior motive to not want absolutely the very best, whatever their little hearts desire, however big they want to dream. You're down with them, seeing it come to fruition. Everything good, nothing bad. You don't want them to experience anything bad ever. And if we had that same attitude toward one another, look at each other like you're kids. You understand how easy it is to follow God's laws and to please God and to be blessed instead of cursed? Because I really believe there is a very intense curse, a godly curse upon America. And I want it off. I want the monkey off my back. And there's only one way to do it. It's got to be confronted. Do we need a civil war? No, I think we're way too far down the line. I think if you read the short book of Daniel in the Bible, you'll see what I'm talking about. You get into the end, there's only 12 chapters. It's good reading. It's interesting stuff. Fun reading. Kids can appreciate it, enjoy it. It's neat. I mean, he gets into dreams and all this sort of stuff and the significance to Nebuchadnezzar, and it's just really cool, the story of Daniel. I mean, he's got his friends go in the fiery furnace. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And there's angelic visitations, all this kind of stuff. So it's really good, solid, cosmic writing. And you should read what it says toward the end. But I don't think so. I think what's happening here is that we've got these very powerful forces for good, very powerful forces for bad. The forces for good, thank God, are more powerful. At the end of the day, they will win. Ultimately, the good guys are going to win. God's will is going to be accomplished on earth. But they're putting us through hell. They're making it absolutely, you want God's way? You've got to fight because we love our lives in this world. We love this system, this current beast-like system. It's working fine. We love this ever-growing wealth disparity because it's going on our side of the ledger here. Okay, and it's all working in our favor. And I don't know how you're going to stop this beast because it's chugging down the tracks, man. It's got momentum. And it's like a big, fat, lazy beast. It's got inertia, too. It doesn't want to budge. The establishment, the beast establishment system is just, it's embedded. They've normalized slavery. This is how we're being tyrannized. It's through the dilution of our currency. It's as simple as that. I don't know how else to say it. You think that national debt is to no avail? Why nobody even talks about it? Oh, hush, hush. Because all those silent about it are benefiting. I mean, everybody's got to see who this is hurting, what they're doing, how they're creating this wealth imbalance. And how, if you look historically, this has always led to tyranny through the ages. And then of ultimately a bloody revolt, a bloody rebellion, a civil war. Something on that basis. And then you'll see changes for a while, and the evildoers got to lay low for a period of years, and they quietly scheme and plan how they're going to, improve so they don't ever lose again, and that's what they've done. They've got algorithms. I mean, tyranny is a scientific art today. That's what's going on here. These people know what they're doing. So the power is going to come from enlightenment, knowledge, wisdom, learning, and that's what Daniel predicts. He predicts in the last days, not before the end of the world. Okay, that Bible doesn't ever say that. The world as we know it, you could say, but it's the end of an age and then the beginning of a new age. But the knowledge, he says, is greatly increased upon the earth. And that's what's happened here. That's where we're at in history. And that is how the tide is going to turn. That is how God's will is going to be accomplished. That's where the rubber meets the road. When people start getting empowered, you start figuring out, hey, all this weather, climate change, alarmist nonsense. Okay, I'm not saying the climate's not changing. Okay, but who's responsible for it? Okay, who's responsible for it? Is it your fault? Is it my fault? Because you want to cool your house, drive your car, maybe take a trip? It's your fault because you got a carbon footprint? While the people telling you this got the biggest carbon footprint. I mean, the hypocrisy is legendary. So, we got to get it, my friends. And when you do, it's traumatic. You've got to do it. You've got to grow up. We've got to take the bull by the horns. We've all got to put our big boy and girl pants on, and we got to step up to the plate. We've got a big responsibility. We're created just a little lower than the angels. If we don't confront the tyrants, we're just going to get more and more tyranny, and we got no one to blame but ourselves. That's why I'm an apologist for the baby boomers. Of course the millennials would blame. What have you done? What have you allowed to be done to this country? Do you even know how you're being tyrannized? Are you disingenuous, you baby boomers? And I'm a member. I'm right there in the middle, 1958, man. Okay, and I don't defend them at all, but I got to listen to these commentators on CBS Sunday Morning who want to tout what the benefits and what the accomplishments of the baby boomer generation. They're getting a bad rap and all this. I think, oh no, it's happened under our watch. We've let this happen. Why are people screaming and yelling and complaining? You think it's going to change if you don't? If your car has got a problem, you know what it is, you know what's got to be done, you know how to do it, and you don't do something to rectify it, what do you think? You're going to break down out on the highway, aren't you? So you've got to confront it. You don't want to. You're lazy. You'd rather be watching TV. And you don't do it. And then you break down on the road. I'm saying it's in your driveway. Do it now. Go get the part if you've got the wherewithal, and then you install it if you can. Or you take it to somebody that can. But you deal with it. You confront it. And that's what we've got to do with this tyranny. You've got to know how we're being tyrannized. It's through currency debasement.